You think eating yogurt every morning is taking care of your gut? Actually, that could be the fastest way to destroy your gut microbiome. Because the yogurt industry has been hiding three truths for decades. First, 90% of yogurt on supermarket shelves has no live bacteria left. Second, the sugar in healthy yogurt is more than a can of Coke. And third, those probiotic strains they advertise, they die the moment they touch your stomach acid. This video is compiled from multiple scientific studies and my 35 years of clinical experience. If there's anything that needs correcting, please comment below so we can discuss together. In short, today we're going to talk about why good for your gut yogurt is one of the most successful marketing tricks in medical history. Before we get into the main content of this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss my next important medical knowledge. And for those coming to my channel for the first time, I'm Dr. Saul Whitman, Chief Medical Officer at Northern Institute for Society Wellness. With over 35 years of experience treating cardiovascular disease, atherosclerosis, stroke, and hypertension, my channel shares free medical knowledge to help you prevent disease effectively and live healthy in old age. Now, let's get into the video. In 1908, a Russian scientist named Elie Metchnikoff won the Nobel Prize for discovering something strange. He noticed that people in Bulgaria lived longer than most of Europe, and they ate a lot of fermented yogurt. Metchnikoff believed that lactic acid bacteria in yogurt was the secret to longevity. He even drank yogurt every day until he passed away at 71 years old. Pretty reasonable, right? But the problem is, the food industry turned this scientific discovery into a $9 billion money-making machine every year in America. How do they do it? By selling you a product completely different from traditional Bulgarian yogurt, but slapping a gut health label on it. And 40 years later, we're just beginning to understand how serious this problem is. But the real problem lies here. The yogurt you buy today is no longer fermented food. It's a disguised dessert, the sugar deception. First, let's talk about the sweetest trap. Imagine you're holding a low-fat strawberry yogurt from the Walmart shelf. The label says, "Excellent source of probiotics, supports digestive health." Sounds perfect, right? Now flip it over and read the ingredients. A 170-gram cup of average fruit yogurt contains 19 to 26 grams of sugar. A 330 milliliter can of Coke, 39 grams. But wait, you're only eating 170 grams of yogurt. Proportionally, yogurt has more sugar than Coke. And here's the ironic part. Sugar is enemy number one for your gut. It feeds harmful bacteria like Candida, E. coli, and Clostridium difficile. Meanwhile, it starves good bacteria like Lactobacillus and Bifidobacterium, exactly what yogurt is supposed to provide you. I had a 68-year-old patient named Helen. She ate Yoplait yogurt every morning for 3 years because her old doctor advised her to do so to improve digestion. When she came to see me, she had bloating, chronic diarrhea, and her A1C, average blood sugar, was at 6.2% pre-diabetic. We tested her gut microbiome. The result? Harmful bacteria made up 70%, good bacteria only 15%. The main cause? 24 grams of sugar every morning for 15 years. But Helen's story isn't the worst. There's a deeper layer of deception. Now you're thinking, okay, I'll choose sugar-free yogurt, smart, but the second problem appears, are the bacteria in it still alive? Most commercial yogurt goes through pasteurization after fermentation. Why? Because live bacteria increase acidity over time, making the product hard to sell. So they kill all the bacteria with high heat, then print "made with live cultures" on the label. They're telling the truth. Yogurt is made with live cultures, but by the time you open the container, they're all dead. A 2018 study from the Journal of Dairy Science tested 40 best-selling yogurt brands in America. The result? 73% didn't meet the minimum standard of 100 million CFU per gram colony-forming units that the FDA requires. Some brands had under 10 million CFU, meaning almost nothing. But suppose you're lucky enough to find yogurt with real live bacteria. Suppose you buy a probiotic yogurt for $6 a container with 10 billion CFU. They even print the strain names: Lactobacillus acidophilus, Bifidobacterium lactis. What's the problem? Most of these bacteria die as soon as they meet your stomach acid. Stomach acid has a pH from 1.5 to 3.5, extremely acidic. It's designed to digest food and kill harmful bacteria. It doesn't distinguish between good or bad bacteria. A study from the World Journal of Gastroenterology showed that only 20 to 40% of probiotics from food survive the stomach to reach the small intestine. And of those, only 10 to 20% actually adhere to the intestinal wall. So if you eat 10 billion bacteria, only about 200 to 800 million reach their destination. Sounds like a lot. But your gut contains 100 trillion bacteria. That number is nothing more than a drop in the ocean. And people don't tell you this. Even if bacteria survive, they only stay in your gut for 7 to 14 days before being eliminated. They don't colonize long-term like you think. So why do some people still feel their gut is better when eating yogurt? There's a surprising reason, and that's the third pillar, the real culprit, lactose intolerance. Here's the twist no one wants to talk about. About 65% of the world's population is lactose intolerant to some degree. This number is higher among Asian Americans, African Americans, 75%, and even white Americans, 25%. When you can't digest lactose, it ferments in the intestines, creating gas, bloating, diarrhea. But here's the interesting part. The fermentation process of making yogurt has already broken down some lactose, so yogurt is easier to digest than fresh milk. But that doesn't mean yogurt heals your gut. It just means it's less harmful than milk. That's the difference between being punched 10 times and being punched 5 times. You're still being punched. And here's the biggest trap. The yogurt industry has cleverly changed the definition of gut health. They make you think not having diarrhea equals healthy gut. Not so. A healthy gut means strong intestinal mucosal barrier, no leakage, balanced microbiome with good bacteria ratio above 85%, gut immune system functioning properly, no chronic inflammation. Commercial yogurt can't do any of that if it contains 24 grams of sugar and dead bacteria, the inflammatory cascade. Now let me explain exactly what happens in your gut when you eat healthy yogurt every day. First, sugar in yogurt causes blood glucose spikes. For people 50 to 70 years old, insulin resistance has usually already begun. Your body has to pump more insulin to process the sugar. Chronically high insulin causes systemic inflammation. Step 2. Sugar feeds harmful bacteria in the gut. They reproduce faster than good bacteria. After 2 to 3 weeks, the ratio becomes imbalanced. Bad bacteria start producing endotoxin, toxins that damage the intestinal mucosal layer. Step 3, when the intestinal mucosa is damaged, you have leaky gut phenomenon. Incompletely digested food molecules and bacteria enter the bloodstream. The immune system detects them as enemies and attacks. That's why you get arthritis, fatigue, brain fog. Step 4, chronic inflammation increases cortisol, the stress hormone. High cortisol increases blood sugar. High blood sugar increases insulin. High insulin increases inflammation. It's a vicious cycle that's very hard to escape. And the final layer is this. Industrial yogurt often contains additives like carrageenan to increase thickness, artificial flavors, and modified food starch. Carrageenan has been proven to cause intestinal inflammation in many animal studies. So you're not just eating sugar, you're eating an inflammatory cocktail every morning and thinking you're taking care of your health. The 3-factor gut health assessment. Now I'll give you a simple tool to evaluate whether yogurt or any probiotic food is really good for your gut. This framework was developed by Dr. Justin Sonnenberg at Stanford, one of the leading experts on gut microbiome. He only looks at 3 things. Factor 1, fiber content. Good bacteria in the gut eat fiber, not sugar. If food doesn't contain at least 3 to 5 grams of fiber, it doesn't feed the gut microbiome. Commercial yogurt, 0 grams of fiber, grade F. Factor 2, sugar to protein ratio. The ideal ratio is under 1 to 2 each gram of sugar, needs at least 2 grams of protein to balance. Plain natural yogurt, about 1 to 1.5 acceptable. Fruit-flavored yogurt, 2 to 1, too bad. Factor 3, processing temperature. If the product undergoes pasteurization after fermentation, pasteurized after fermentation, all bacteria die. Look for the label contains live and active cultures and check if CFU is at least 1 billion. Why is this framework reliable? Because it's based on actual gut physiology, not marketing. It explains why kefir, fermented milk, is better than yogurt. Kefir has more bacterial strains, 30 to 50 strains compared to 2 to 5 strains, isn't pasteurized after fermentation, and has less sugar. You can apply this tool today when you go to the supermarket. Flip the label, check the 3 factors. If the product fails 2 out of 3, skip it. So is yogurt beneficial or harmful? So back to the original question. Is yogurt really good for your gut? The answer is, it depends. There are 3 types of yogurt you might eat most. Type 1, commercial sweetened yogurt. This is the type that occupies 80% of supermarket shelves. They contain 15 to 26 grams of sugar, dead bacteria, inflammatory additives. For people 50 to 70 years old who already have diabetes risk and chronic inflammation, this is no different from dessert, more harm than good. Type 2, plain unsweetened yogurt. This is a much better choice. If you choose full fat, whole cream, organic, grass-fed with live cultures label, it has some benefits. Good protein, 15 to 20 grams, calcium, some probiotics. But remember, this isn't a superfood that heals your gut. It's just a convenient protein source. Type 3, homemade yogurt or kefir. If you really want probiotic benefits, making yogurt at home or buying fresh kefir is the best choice. Why? Because you control the sugar amount, no pasteurization, and bacteria are still alive when you eat it. Add 2 to 3 tablespoons of chia seeds and fresh berries, antioxidants. You have a breakfast that's truly good for your gut. But there's something more important than all. Don't rely on yogurt to save your gut. If you eat the standard American diet with fried food, sugar, processed foods, then eating yogurt every morning is no different from mopping the floor when the house is on fire. A healthy gut needs fiber from vegetables, 25 to 35 grams per day, polyphenols from fruits, nuts, spices, quality protein, reduced sugar and refined carbs, adequate sleep and stress control. Yogurt is just a small piece, not a comprehensive solution. So what's the lesson here? The food industry is very good at turning science into marketing. They take a real study. Lactic acid bacteria are beneficial for the gut, then create a completely opposite product, but still label it healthy. As a doctor, I don't hate yogurt. I hate deception. I hate when 70-year-old patients come to see me with high blood sugar, chronic bloating, and say, "But doctor, I eat yogurt every morning." They did exactly what the ads told them, but their health still deteriorated. The simple truth is, if you want to take care of your gut, eat real food. Vegetables, fruits, nuts, clean protein. If you like yogurt, choose plain, unsweetened, add fiber and fresh fruit to it. What do you think about this yogurt issue? Have you ever been fooled by probiotic labels? Comment below to let me know. I'm Dr. Saul Whitman. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the medical truths that the industry doesn't want you to know. See you again in the next video.